Welcome. Yes, leading with integrity. Come on in. Come on in. Hillman TikTok 101, leadership development, leadership and personal development 101. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and grab my book off of Amazon. Um, Awaken the Leader from Within. Awaken the Leader from Within. That's my book on Amazon. And there is a syllabus out there on my YouTube page. So if you go to my YouTube page at Leadership 101 22 on YouTube. Okay, so leadership, what's going on? Say hello, say hi. Tonight we are talking about leadership. How do we lead in this environment? How do we lead in this current state of affairs? How do we become leaders? So I'm excited you are here learning about leadership. Go ahead and share this on your page. This is part of the Hillman TikTok leadership series, 5 week classes. This is the third week. So if you missed out on week 1 and 2, that's no problem. Come on to my YouTube page, Leadership 101 22, and we'll talk about leadership. Today, we're talking about leading with integrity. Leading with integrity. How do we lead with integrity? How do we lead in this type of environment? So, some key things is leadership takes courage, speaking truth in your power, and ethical. Okay. So, what does it mean to be an ethical leader? What does it mean to have integrity? You are already a leader. I just want to say that you are already a leader, whether you think you're a leader or not. In some capacity, you lead. And I liken it to this: when you're driving along on the highway, when you get off the ramp and jump on that highway, there are cars behind you, right? And you are becoming the leader unless you decide to slow down really slow and everybody starts going around you. You are the leader, you're the front. Anything that's going to happen in front, if someone presses on their brake hard or slows down in front of you, you are leading the rest of the people behind you, right? So that's the kind of leader that I need you to get the mind frame and start thinking about. You may be thinking, I am not a leader. Okay. I don't know what I'm leading. So subscribe and like to my page. Subscribe and like. I am all about how we can help you become a leader, how I can help you become the next best leader. Okay. So like, share, comment. I hope that you invite your friends. You can invite your friends to tune in. This is week 3 of a 5 week series on leadership and personal development. After the 5 weeks is over, then we will continue to talk about leadership and I'll continue to post. So make sure you grab my book, Awaken the Leader from Within. It's on Amazon. Awaken the Leader from Within on Amazon. Dr. Stacy Yeager is my name. So go out there, grab my book. Also, take a moment to really join my YouTube page. My YouTube page is over there under leadership and personal development. So, YouTube link, I will ensure that I comment, or if you go to the link in my bio, you will be able to see it. Okay. So, let's talk about leadership. What is leadership? What's going on? What's going on in this society? So, I want to ask you, are you satisfied with the current state of emotions? Are you satisfied with the leadership that's going on in our community right now? Are you satisfied? Talk to me. Make a comment below. Tell me what you think and thinking your thoughts. Are you satisfied with the current leaders that we have? Are you satisfied with the integrity? Are you satisfied with the direction that the country is going? Okay, now look at our local leadership. Are you satisfied with our local leaders? Are you satisfied with how your community is responding right now? Are you satisfied? So, leadership and personal development, it stresses that you have to be the leader that you want to see. Okay. So, no longer do we say, oh, I'm waiting on somebody else to become the leader. No, no, no. You are the leader. Okay. So, because you are the leader, you're the car in front, it's your turn to be the leader, then you have to be the one who is leading the charge. Okay. So I want you to think about, what does it mean to be a leader? What does it mean to be a leader in this time? Okay. So, welcome for those who are joining me and stopping by. This is part of the Hillman TikTok series, Leadership and Personal Development, TikTok University, whatever you want to call it. This is educational attributes here on TikTok to help you enhance your knowledge. So if you're scrolling, stop for a moment. There's so many reasons why you're scrolling. So you may be scrolling for entertainment or trying to just veg out. But guess what? Sometimes you need to just relax, okay? Relax. What can you learn? All right. So the topic and readings for this week is I Am Not Your Negro, James Baldwin. So if you know anything about the life and legacy of James Baldwin, if you look up James Baldwin, it was very prominent about saying what he really feels, providing details as far as talking about racism in society, talking about how the impact of decisions from leaders trickle down. And also, when we think about how can we become leaders, no matter who's president, no matter who's in charge, we have to lead ourselves. We have to think about how to lead. If you have children, your family, if you have friends, cousins, whatever, the leaders within your community will start with you. So you didn't just happen to just stumble upon this page. I came up on your For You. So here I am for you saying, hey, and I want you to know that it's important that when we think about being a leader, when we think about, okay, what can I do to better myself? It is more than just coming up with something and not sure of how you can be a leader. So this week, the topic of week 3 is leading with integrity. And my book is here. And one way how you can lead with integrity is, first, you have to heal from within. Okay. As you think about how you can become a leader, you have to reflect on, why am I here? What made me decide to be a leader? How did I help happen to become the leader that I am? And if you go back, or if you ever gone to therapy, if you ever wonder like how you contribute to this world, is how you were raised. That little kid within you is now a grown adult. Many of the ways how we led or was led by our family, it has an impact on how we lead. So just like in my example, you're driving along, you're getting off the highway, and that highway is called adulthood, right? So you're getting off the highway until adulthood. And what are you doing? You're leading, you're figuring out your path, you're taking jobs and positions, having children, building a family, or creating a world for yourself. So all these things you are considering, what are you doing? And so being a leader involves leading yourself. And the way how you lead yourself is you have to heal from within. So wounds from words and people may cause scars. However, the pain fades away when you win by living life to your fullest. And again, that comes from my book, Awaken the Leader from Within. And when I say those things is, sometimes we said sticks and stones may break your bones. Well, name will never hurt, where names won't hurt you. But that's a lie. Words hurt. Your feelings can get hurt. So I'm glad we don't say that as much today, because when people talk about you, intimidate you, try to ruin your character, make up things about you, that hurts. And as a leader, our goal is to ensure that we have a high level of integrity and that our word is bond. And if someone else tries to discredit us, we should have built up a reputation. But here's also the reality. There are some people who get ahead from lying, cheating, misguiding, not fully telling the truth, and their reputation is built on how stern or how firm they are, or how they could have people thinking one way, whether good or bad, you know? So all leaders do not lead with integrity. All leaders are not put in that position because they love everybody. There's as you read I Am Not Your Negro, even from Wicked and some of these other movies that are out, you will see that they show the difference between good and evil, positive and negative. And those who are good with integrity, who have the right things put into place, seeming ethical, they do not always apparently win. Okay, win. When we think about how was the United States of America founded? How was this country ran? How do everybody feel equal? What happened to the original people was here? Were they treated fairly? How did things come about? So when you start reading the history of the United States and the history of the world, many of it was founded by who had the best army, who fought the most, who was able to defeat the others, who was able to conquer or strategize more. That was the winner. Okay. The one who was able to crumple down people who may have not been able to defend themselves. And so when we think of leadership and who is deserving to be a leader, they may not always be the person who you feel should be the leader. Okay. But as you become a leader, you have to be confident in yourself and say, am I the leader that I would like to be? Do I want to lead with integrity or do I want to lead on fear? Do I want to lead in intimidation? Do I want to have people who follow me because they're afraid of me? Or do I want to have people follow me who love me? Right? So these are all the things that come into our mind. And we know that there's an imbalance, right? From our elections to locally to regionally, whatever, you now have to raise a lot of money to win elections. So now it's not as much as if I'm liked, if I'm cared for, it's who raised the money, most money, who am I supported by, who's pouring into my fund so that I can get all these advertisements to get people to vote for me, even if I tell the truth or slant the truth. It's about how much money do I have to push toward the people I want to vote to me and I can win. Okay. But to combat that is to have a group of followers who are knowledgeable. The number one thing that you can do as a leader, especially if you have a high level of integrity. Okay. We're not talking about leaders who are getting there by bullying people, by intimidation, by fear, because those two will crumble. Okay, pride comes before the fall. Remember that? It's in the Bible. And so those leaders don't always lead a long time, okay? So what kind of leader am I? I think I'm the kind of leader that is truly passionate about what I do. Like my goal is to help people replace me. And I've said this over and over because I'm a natural born leader. I tend to naturally be the one people choose to lead. Even like we did a icebreaker this past weekend. I'm just sitting in the room, innocent in the back, get in groups, great. And so then it was like, okay, choose a group leader. I am always quiet. I do not volunteer because I know I lead in so many places. I'm like, give someone else a chance. And so they were like, do you want to lead? I was like, absolutely not. Have someone else lead. Everyone was saying, well, I want to lead. I don't want to lead. And so then they were like, well, can anyone just lead for this activity? And so I was like, fine, I'll just leave for this activity, because it just needs to get done. I didn't want to keep going back and forth. There were some people who I could tell they're not natural born leaders to pull it together to make it work. So what do you do when you're a leader in that situation? So I just tend to be the one. I don't necessarily want to lead, but I see the need so much and I have the capability and knowledge to lead. I always defer to anybody else. Anybody who wants to lead, great. Go ahead and lead. Do your thing. I'm cheering you on, right? But if I do have to be the leader, my goal is to pass it on. So in my own mind, I give my, oh, thank you, Tracy. Tracy said, you are a great leader. One reason is because you show us how to lead. Thank you. And that's my goal. My goal is never to be the leader forever. Some people are like, I'm in this leadership role. I deserve it. I'm going to be in here forever. And I don't feel that way. I'm like, in reality, I lead every single area, not every, but a majority of my areas I lead in whatever I do, from work to volunteer service to on my own nonprofit to my sorority. I'm just in a leadership position. And I don't have to keep it for myself because I lead in so many other areas. Many others don't even have the ability to or capacity to lead in so many areas. So if they have the opportunity to lead, and I'll give you the tools so that you can be the great leader and take over for me because I lead, I don't have to have it. I am truly a person who is fulfilled no matter if I'm the leader or not. My life is fulfilling. I love my life. I'm where I want to be in life. Like, I truly didn't even dream of where I would be right now in my life. And I'm really happy and I really have joy. So I'm really at an awesome place in my life. I just really love my life. And so there are others who are still seeking. I talk to many young women about this and young men. Where do you want to be in life? What do you want to do? And it's just like they have a vision of where they want to be, but they have not learned how to lead themselves. So again, my goal for this course is week 3 is to help you learn how to lead yourself. The topic for this week, again, go download my syllabus on my YouTube page, Leadership 101-22, and that's in YouTube. Okay. It's leading with integrity and moral leadership. And in order to lead with integrity, you have to be healed. So in my book, Awaken the Leader from Within, it talks about healing within. So if you have never been to a therapist ever, ever, ever in your life, I would encourage you go to therapy. The reason why I say this is not you don't have to go to therapy because something is wrong. You go to therapy because you really want to make improvements on yourself to have a better life. Okay. So therapy is to help you become a better person. Any therapist will tell you you don't have to be in therapy all your life, but a couple of therapy sessions with if you have a job, it's called EAP. Most jobs have EAP with 3 or 4 free therapy sessions paid for by your job. Okay. So free therapy, go to a therapist, say, I don't know why I'm here. I was looking at YouTube Live or Facebook Live or TikTok Live, and she recommended I go to therapy. I don't know why, but what do I want to get from it? What is something that you can tell me about myself? Or maybe you're like, I want to have real pure joy. Like I want to just be in a spot in my life where I'm just full of joy, right? And so that requires healing from within. So I wanted to share with you in my book, I do talk about how things in life sometimes sometimes causes you to lose faith or causes you to question your ethics or morality or life. And so I want you to take a moment to reflect on what does integrity mean to you, especially in leadership. What kind of leader do you want to be? What would help you to know if you're making moral decisions or immoral decisions? So one thing I have my class do when I teach leadership courses, I have the class ask their friends and family, what type of leader do you think I am? Ask them and see what they say. And tell them to be honest with you. What kind of person do you think I am? Tell me something good. Tell me something negative, or tell me not negative, something that I can improve upon. The SWOT analysis allows you to analyze your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So write that down. SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So as a leader, you have to know within your mind those four key areas that you may be working on or continually working on. So the first one we'll talk about is strengths. What is your strengths? Okay. So if someone asks me, what is your strengths? What do you think your strongest point is? And I would say my strongest point is that I lead with my heart and my head. Okay. I am a passionate leader who will look at someone's best interest and think about ways that I can help them live life better. How can I help them grow? How can I help them learn? What tools can I give them? So I lead with my heart and my head as a combination. And that's what I do as a leader. My weaknesses, oh my goodness, my weaknesses. My weaknesses used to be, I wouldn't say it currently is now. When one person criticized me or said something that I didn't quite agree with, I took it to heart. Like I would really be down on myself, like, oh my goodness, why would they say this? And why would they say that? Until I had an awakening. So that awakening was, and studies have shown this: one negative comment, to cancel out one negative comment, you need 7 to 8 positive comments. But then I realized that the feedback that I get, it's not to harm me. Like, especially if it's from somebody close to me, someone who I value, and they give me feedback that kind of stings, that gives me a moment to say, let me reflect on what they said to see if there's a portion of any truth in that. And if there's a portion of truth in that, what can I take and learn from it? Instead of being offended by it, what can I learn from what they're telling me? Okay. So that's what I want to give that to you. So do not think that weaknesses is something that will cancel you out. No, weaknesses gives you the opportunity for people to be honest with you and also see what can you do better, because nobody's perfect. Am I right? If you think you're perfect, get married. Your spouse and you will not get along perfectly. If you think you're perfect, have kids. Your kids will grow up and tell you about yourself. If you think you're perfect, have friends, like true friends, like friends who will tell you, knowing that you said you was on a diet and you in the cinnamon roll, and they tell you you better throw that cinnamon roll away. Those are the real friends, not friends that be like, girl, go ahead and eat that cinnamon roll. It's okay if you cheat. No, not those friends. Real friends. Real friends will tell you your weaknesses so that you can sharpen it. And it's a saying like iron sharpens iron. We are here to sharpen each other, right? So real friends will help you identify your weaknesses. And last week I told you about getting a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor, a therapist, a mentor. Therapist, mentor. Put that on your checklist. Your mentor is there to help you as well. When I was going through my PhD program, my friend Karen and I, and she's my sorority sister too, we told each other, no matter what feedback we get while working on our dissertation, our response is going to be okay, yes, and change it. We're not going to argue. We're not going to fight back. We're not going to go into defensive mode. When we get that feedback, and trust me, back in the day when I got my PhD, it was marked up in red stuff. Okay, marked up in red. It wasn't no Chat GPT, Grammarly. No, it was not. I hired a person who was great at writing to look and edit my papers. Okay. It wasn't no shortcut to telling you if something was wrong. Okay. You just had to hire someone to help look over your paper, right? An editor. And so we agreed that we would get done with our PhD program and we would take the high road. When we got feedback, we would cancel out our personal feelings, take our personal feelings out of it. If our mentor who told us that it was incorrect or wrong, or we need to go back and rewrite it, we would gracefully do it. And guess what? Her and I are now doctoral degree holders. We worked together in teams. Every class we had, we would team up and work together, and we graduated, honey. And that's because we realized, and it made us realize that when people give you feedback to improve, it's not to hinder you, it's actually to elevate you. Come on, somebody, give me a high five. It's to elevate you to the next level. Our mentors were giving us the tools we needed to elevate us to a new level. Are you open enough to receiving feedback that can take you to a next level? Anybody? Go ahead, comment. Are you open enough? And again, I'm not talking about people who are negative, people who are not where you want to be. You want to only take advice from people or somewhere where you want to be. If you want to be a leader of an organization, you need to partner with that leader who is currently in that role, not somebody who's not in that position trying to tell you how to get there. Okay. This is people who have your best interest at heart and who love you enough to tell you the truth to elevate you to the next level. So you got to be open and willing for that thing. Okay. Oh, hey, Stace. Hey, Sean. Welcome, welcome. Hey. And so again, strengths, weakness, opportunities. Opportunities are places where you can look for the next level of where you need to be. What opportunities are out there? What opportunities do you have to grow? What opportunities? So opportunities could be, I need an opportunity to take a class on leadership and development. I need an opportunity. An opportunity is to read more books. I'm lacking in that area of knowledge. I need the opportunity to grow. I need the opportunity to do more with my life, to network more, to build my resources, to build my resume. Okay. So, depending on where you want to lead, you have to have a resume or things that promote you to where you want to be. You have to have people who believe in you that can write a recommendation, that can stand for you, that can help pour into you. So opportunities is, what opportunities do you have or could you create so that you can elevate yourself to being a better leader? You stopping by to watch this video, to go back and look at the series on my YouTube page, Leadership 101-22 on YouTube, stopping over there to just listen and watch, that will help you become a better leader and a better person. So what can you do to be a better person? Reading. If you don't have time to read my book, someone has asked me to put it on audio. So that's going to be my next venture, is to put this book in audio. And I will be in the process of making an audio book because people said, I want to be able to listen to you while I drive. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. So audio book is next on my list. That's an opportunity for me because I want to elevate myself. Now, threat. A threat could be considered a competition. And so I encourage people not to compare your accolades to others. Okay. So however old you are, whatever you're doing, and I just had my class reunion last year, and some people were there comparing themselves to me. I'm like, do not compare yourself to me because you don't know the journey that I took to get here. Nobody knows the journey that you took to get to where your life is. So you're only competing against yourself, right? So knowing that you're only competing, hey, Denise, you're only competing against yourself. Okay. So don't feel like wherever you are in life that you're behind, that you need to play catch up, that you are not where you need to be. Okay. Because the decisions we make in our life will either enable us to improve the life from this point forward or decline your life. Okay. So think about it like relationships. So the relationship you are in or not in. Okay. Some people have chosen not to be in a relationship. Some people have chosen to be in a relationship. But whatever relationship status you're in, more than likely you chose that. What do I mean by that? Some people may say, well, I'm single because I ain't found no one. Right. But if you wanted to be with someone, you could lower your standard to get anybody. Am I right? but you're just not willing to lower your standards. Okay. So that's what I mean. So we're in a situation because of what we chose. Some of us are married, and we chose our spouse based upon various criteria, right? And so even for people who have been married more than once, it's like, okay, well, I married this person last time. I don't want to marry the same kind of person this time. You should have learned from the last time who you want to be with, who you want to have companionship with, who your friends are, right? And so a threat, do not consider a threat as another person. Okay. All that to say is you're not competing in this life against anybody but yourself, right? You are growing to where you choose to be, where you want to be, what brings you joy. Okay? So that's what it is. So threats could be like time as a threat. Like I'm so busy raising kids, dealing with husband, dealing with jobs, dealing with panic or whatever. I don't have time to do what I want to. So your SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. That's what we're focused on. I want you to dive a little more into what those four areas of your life are. And so threat for a long time for me was time, as a mom, wife, full-time worker, caretaker. My time did not go to me. My time was not my own. And I don't say that as a negative, even threats can be negative because as a parent, I value spending time with my children. As a wife, I have to value spending time with my husband. I have to value my time, right? And because I chose to have children, I chose to be married, then that means I'm choosing to give one thing over another, right? So that's okay. My kids are not a hindrance in anything. My goal was to complete my PhD by the time my daughter started kindergarten. Done. My goal was to be a stay-at-home mom when I had my kids. Done. Now, did it set me back a little bit from where I wanted my goals to be? Yes. But my goal was also to be stay-at-home mom and work eventually when they went to school, right? Because they go to school during the day, I can work during the day. So delayed is not denied. It just may look a little different. So that's why I said don't compare yourself against someone else because someone else may not have had kids at all and they went straight through, bachelor's, master's, PhD, right in education, blah, blah, blah. And they're where I need to be. I shouldn't be intimidated by the path they took, and I wouldn't be. So when you think about where you want to be in life, write it down on paper, what you want to achieve. And I will tell you this, and this is what most leaders know no matter what the economy is, no matter who's the president, no matter who your life structure, if you are destined within yourself to achieve a goal, you can do it. Okay? So that don't let anybody tell you, if it's in your heart to go back to school, go back to school. If it's in your heart to get a new job, get it. Don't let fear hold you back from making strides. Now, of course, you have to do common sense, right? We know the stock market has dropped for the past week. Like, come on. Right. But if you always wanted to know about stocks, now is a great time. I talked to an economist last week, and he was telling me how this is such an exciting time to know what the economy is going to do and to watch it. I mean, exciting meaning from the economy perspective, how they can predict what will happen, what will go forth. And if you look at last year's prediction, many economists predicted all of these things happen, right? Project 2225 was put out there as a warning, as a guide to what was to come. Many economists took it to heart and planned out what 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 will look like. And I encourage you, during these times, it says that it may be uncertain right now, but there is certainty in some things. So I would encourage you, look at the economy, look at the economists, look at the trends, look at um, tariffs and all that fun stuff. And don't be scared about it. This is a perfect time to increase your knowledge and know about it because history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. And that what the Bible says too. There's nothing new under the sun. So let us not be fearful and let us get educated. Okay. The next thing is I want you to look into yourself to see what can you do to be a leader right now in your community. This is the time where we need leaders to step up. I'm looking to help 50 to 100 people, and I'm doing really great about people coming, following my TikToks or Facebook page or whatever. We need 50 to 100 leaders in every community that's willing to step up. So, the Department of Education may be a place where you need to step in. Where can you step in to help out? Do you want to become a farmer, medical, doula, midwifery, legal? There's such an opportunity for us to be able to see how can we help out our community, because this next 4 years, a big push is pushing power back to the state. How is that going to look? We don't know how it's going to look when states decide what to do with education, what to do with its seniors, what to do with the working population, what to do. We don't know what the next 4 years is going to look like, but we can prepare as leaders. So I want you to do some exercises this week. Again, this is week 3, talking about integrity and moral leadership. If you're looking at my syllabus, then you know that we're talking about how to find examples of practicing moral courage and leadership. Group discussions, talk about it in this group or go to my YouTube page. Talk about your personal courage and confronting racial injustice. How do you deal with that? How can you apply it to being courageous in your personal and professional positions? Now, when we talk about confronting racial injustices, that could possibly be injustices that are happening to you or that you see happening to others. What do you do? Because there is a new website called End DEI. Did you hear? It's called enddei.gov. That's a real website, and it's talking about come here to report any instances of racism that happen against you. That's an interesting name for it, but okay. But it's like, what do we think will happen with that website? What do we think will be reported? How do you think complaints will be handled? And the reality is, many of us as adults, we want to be fairly treated, right? We live here in the United States of America. If you're from out of the country, hello to you. But in the United States, although we say that everybody should be treated equally, that does not mean that it happens. So, what can we do to ensure that people are treated equally? It's beyond what we do, but we have to talk about it and raise instances and awareness of, if I'm not being treated or if I see someone not treated fairly, do I have that moral courage to say something, right? And I think it goes back to, if you say something, do something. When George Floyd passed away, unfortunately, many people were held back by the police as they tried to get them to do something different. Now we see that they're petitioning President Trump to allow this person who killed George Floyd to be let out of prison. What is going on? And so we can't be discouraged by what we hear in the news. We can't be discouraged by people who constantly say, let's do the wrong thing, let's do the wrong thing, let's devalue life. Okay, that is very weighing on people who have a high level of moral compass. It's like, why is it that good people are not succeeded? Why is it that good is not being shown? Why is it? And people stop me all the time and say, I want to hear your opinion and what you think. And here's the truth. I really, when 2025 came, I really told people, download the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer, as a leader with the great moral compass, the Serenity Prayer will keep things in perspective. because we only can change what we can change. We have the power in November to re-elect some new leaders locally, some new leaders who are going to be on the Senate and the House. We have the opportunity to make changes. We have the opportunity to vote. We have the opportunity to, if someone is not morally upstanding in our eyes, we can speak up for what is right. Now, speaking up for what is right, it's kind of a catch-22. If the person is in power, then they also have the power to do negative things to you. But that does not mean that they get to win. So think about, how are you confronting racial injustice? And then also, here's the thing. Most recently, there has been boycotts. So on the 28th, there was a boycott. There's been boycotts outlined for this month, next month, about where to boycott to. And so I'll use Target, for example. So Target decided they wanted to remove DEI at the cusp of Black History Month. They said profits declined. The board members who they were trying to appease by removing DEI sued Target because they said, you knew that it was going to be negative for taking out DEI. So why'd you take it out when that was a power source for your business? And so because people stopped shopping there, it went down, right? Tesla. Anyone watching the stock market? Every single day for the past week, down, 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 down. Why is that? Because people are speaking with their mouth and their pocket, that if they don't agree with you, they can remove their money and invest it somewhere else. So as we think about how we can be a leader, there's various things that we can talk about. In week one, we kind of talk about Malcolm X style of leadership versus Martin Luther King's leadership. What kind of leader are you? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King? I'm a combination of both. By any means necessary, but do it nicely. Anyway, and so what does this leadership mean to you? Both moral leaders, both were like, sit down and take it. The other was like, no, fight back. Okay. So you have to, and I am just a leader that says it don't take all that. And I'm really proud, and I will say I'm really proud of us as United States of America citizens who are banding together. The boycott made an impact just for one day. Even if you take out the money, like what we were talking about is like this weekend, our goal was to support Black-owned businesses, and so we did that. And so I said, if the average person spends $200 on a Friday or over the weekend, if you spend that $200 with a Black business or a small business instead of a big business, it will be an impact. Multiply $200 times 100 people. $2,000 to the small business owner has an impact. We went to one of the local businesses here on Friday, and they normally never have a wait time. They had a wait time of 45 minutes. I was like, okay, way to go. We'll go to a different one, but just know we'll probably be back at a different time, right? And so it was beautiful to see all the tables were so packed, but we can't just do that one time. It should be every week, every day, consciously deciding where to put your dollars, okay? Leaders, the Montgomery boycott, that boycott was 387 days. It lasted over a year. 380 something days. Okay, so imagine if for the next year, the next full year until next March the 4th, that you consciously decided, I'm going to buy with small businesses. I'm going to be the leader of that in my community. I'm going to not only encourage my family, but I'm going to encourage the community around me to shop with local owned businesses, to shop with Black businesses. And I'm going to put out a list. Any place we go, we're going to host our events at this location because they're a small business. Like, and my sorority sisters of my chapter, that's what we do. We went to a small business. It was about 15 of us that went there. And I know we spent $20 or more each. That had an impact on that business. We could have went to a chain restaurant, had the same food, spent the same $30, but it's not going to impact their bottom line. It didn't. Okay. So we have to consciously for this next year think about how can we lead ourselves? How can we lead our community? So comment below, comment on your Facebook page, comment about how you can be a leader this week. How can you lead with courage? How can you practice moral courage? What does integrity mean to you? Okay. And this is important because sometimes being a leader with morals, integrity can be frightening, right? We have seen many leaders who were laid off of their job these past 3 months just for being moral leaders. But we cannot walk in fear. As leaders, we have to be resilient. Next week, we're going to talk about adversity, building resilience. That's week 4. But right now, week 3, grab my book, Awaken the Leader from Within. It is in paperback as well as hardback. So grab my book. Take time to read through it. At the end of each chapter, it does have a workbook section for you to answer questions all through it. So here's a question that is in the back of the book. And some of you got my book, some of you don't. But in the end of chapter 3, it says, as you look at the steps above, and you got to read the book to get the steps above. Okay. Also, it's free on Kindle. Forgot to mention that. Amazon Kindle. If you have that subscription, then it's free and you can write online and write your comments. What is something that is keeping you back from leading? Okay. Going back to your SWOT analysis. What is something that is keeping you back as a leader? Is it you're unwilling to be a leader? Is it that you don't have the knowledge to be a leader? Is it that you don't have the time? What is it that's keeping you from leading? Okay. 2, what failures have I encountered trying to lead? Again, this book is about healing yourself. So, what failures have you encountered trying to be a leader? And so, as I think about the failures, it's important that you understand failures is not a bad thing. You will hear the term often, failing to success. Okay. If you never try, then you can fail. Okay. But if you try and fail, it's what did you learn from it? Okay. What did you learn from it? When I think about what did I fail or what did I know? What could I have done better? So as a leader, there's many times in which I didn't do things perfectly. I may have failed in some aspects of that leadership, but when I came back or when I continued to analyze it, I realized how I can be better. And you have to remember, I've been a leader for over 30 years, 40 years. I was in kindergarten as a treasurer of our little group. I remember collecting money and writing people's name down and being the leader of whatever little group we had. So I've been leader all through my life. I'm a natural born leader. So as a natural born leader, it's a little different than someone who is a made leader. Okay. So there's natural born leaders and there's people who intentionally strive to be made a leader. Okay. 2 different. Not saying that one is better than the other. None are better. It's just different. So if you're new to becoming a leader, I challenge you, pick up my book to awaken the leader from within, because it really will challenge you to think about how you are a leader, how you can become a leader. It will strengthen your leadership skills. What are you afraid of? Okay, there's more questions that are asked. Okay, another good question is, what past hurt have I experienced? One thing about being a leader, one thing about being a leader, do you hear me? Is that you're going to get your feelings hurt. It's 100% guarantee because the people who you lead, they may not appreciate you. They may take you for granted. They may not say thank you. They may complain about you and your leadership styles. They may talk about you behind your back. And to be a leader, a good leader, you have to have kind of a thick skin. Okay. That doesn't mean that you're a pushover. That doesn't mean that you just tell everybody things are merry. No, 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 no. It's a difference. But you just can't take criticism to heart. Remember, I told you that my feelings used to be really hurt when someone gave me feedback. As a leader, your feelings can't get hurt over and over and over and over and over. Just know 100% that as a leader, people are going to talk about you behind your back, criticize you, make fun of you, whatever. But here's the thing. Those people who do that, they not willing to step up. They not willing to replace you because I will tell them too. You know, they'll say, "Oh, well, you're not doing this right. You're not doing that right." Great. If you can do it better, come on over. You can be the next leader. You can do it. 100% of the time. And I'll tell you this, 100% of the time, they were like, no, it's okay. And made an excuse why they couldn't. And so then I would say, well, will you please stop criticizing me and talking negative to others and discouraging them so that you can support me in what I'm doing so that it will be less of a struggle for me. I have the real conversation. You know, I don't avoid people talking about me or whatever, but I have we're adults. You can talk about, you can do whatever you want to. It's a free country. But I ask them, would you please stop with the criticism and negativity, telling everyone else, messing up their place of peace so that we as a whole can be peaceful and move forward. Now, if you can't do that, then another conversation. Well, will you leave? Will you go on and start your own? Will you take a back seat? Will you step down from where you are because being you're not being honest and truthful or helpful to the group whole? I've had to do that with managers, leaders, volunteer groups, whatever. I do not mind having hard conversations. So as a leader with integrity, you have to be prepared to have hard conversations, address the issues that others may skirt around, lead with integrity. Again, doesn't mean that you're a doormat, but it simply means that you are leading with integrity and you're teaching people. Okay. So as we wrap this up, because this has been a good conversation tonight, we did get started a little late, but trust and believe we're going to keep it moving. So as we wrap up tonight, I want to challenge you to continue to awaken the leader from within yourself deep down. Do a SWOT analysis, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you're just now joining us and you're on week 3, go to my YouTube page at Leadership 101-22. Okay. And it should be in my bio page. If you're on Facebook, it should be pinned to the top of my page. If you're on YouTube, this recorded video will upload, but it also has the syllabus in the Google Drive. But I appreciate you joining me for another week of leadership personal development. I love this. Okay. Find yourself a mentor, get into therapy, whatever is that little child within you, go into therapy, free therapy, EPA. If you have a job, EPA. Look at your job's website and benefits. It does provide more than likely 3 or 4 free counseling sessions for you to improve, to be the best leader you can, to heal from within, and then practice leader integrity. Look at the book or read the book, I Am Not Your Negro, excerpts by James Baldwin. It talks about courageous leadership, speaking truth in your power, being ethical. And remember, before I leave, now is the time that we need you to be a leader. We're counting on you to lead. We're waiting on you to lead us in our community. Now is the time. So with that, have a great week. I will see you next Tuesday. Same time, same place, here on TikTok, on Facebook and upload it to YouTube. So I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for your time. Bye. Wait 1 second.